welcome back to Change the Odds, the podcast. We're marriage and family. We're never meant to be a game of chance.
Yeah.
Blaine and Adrienne, here we are.
Ho, ho, ho.
Hey, it is a little Christmas season. Can you feel it?
I can.
Oh,
I
we're
can
ready.
taste it with this
there we go.
Starbucks coffee season. You know what
Our
I'm
Christmas trees are up and everything.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. We love Christmas, Kevin.
we
Do you?
Kevin
Christmas
McAllister.
Kevin?
Oh, have you seen Home Alone?
Yes, I've seen Home Alone.
Well,
Yes.
we aren't sure now what year.
What was it the last time I hadn't
Christmas
seen?
Christmas vacation.
Oh, that little thing. Yes, that little thing. No, that's exactly right. Hey, that actually could cause a fight between me and Jenny because she loves that movie so much.
Home Alone? She loves
yes,
it?
and I'm like, I'm out.
Does she watch
No, not Home Alone.
Oh.
Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yeah. But do you watch Home Alone every year like us?
No.
No?
No.
No. We go backwards. We start with the new ones, which aren't as good. And then we go back to the classics.
Oh,
Closer
yeah.
that we get to Christmas.
Wow,
Right,
those
Ben?
traditions.
Yes.
No, I don't like to watch movies I've seen before.
You don't like traditions. We get it.
All right, so what's our fight today?
Okay.
We got one.
We
got a
do
new
have one. Should I just read it and
Let's
get go for
Welcome
it?
back to Fight Club.
So, hey, Fight Club. I just found out that my husband sent over $2,000 on Christmas without telling me.
Oh.
We'd talked about saving, or sorry. Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
you want me
guys.
to
Should we?
read, or-
No, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
going to hang on there.
Yep.
We talked about staying under $800, but they spent $2,000. But he said the kids deserved a big year. Sounds like me. And went overboard. I'm livid. I handle the bills, and now I'm scrambling to cover January. He says I'm making too big of a deal of it, that he just wanted to create magic. I feel lied to and dismissed. We've had money fights before, but this one really hurt. Are we just wired differently, or is there something deeper? Mrs. Budget Burnout.
Wow. He wanted to create magic and he created mayhem. And now here we are. Welcome to
A
Fight
lesson
Club.
for all.
Don't we know it?
So would this be a debate y'all would have?
Oh
Or
my. Well, the debate or the habits we have for Christmas presents would be,
Well, I buy them.
yeah.
And then on December 20th,
She buys them around November 15th on.
no. I'm just like, I think about it a little bit
Prepared.
more. I'm not super early. I'm not an early shopper, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
that's good.
December 23rd, he comes home with like 10 new gifts. He's like, oh, I was just at the store and I bought way more things that our kids don't need.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what's in the boxes, Kevin.
No,
and
I get it.
And I want to be a part of it.
I think that's one of the great things about Christmas Day is finding out what I bought the kids.
Right.
This the excitement. I'm excited. I can't wait.
And I remember as a kid, I wanted all the wonderful things. And I want
but
my kids to have those
Do you think
moments.
that you should get all the wonderful things as a kid?
Oh.
You want to spoil your children? Rotten?
I'm going to have to ask you to type that into our form. That way we can cover that fight at another time.
Anyway.
Okay.
All right, so,
Merry Christmas.
So let's break this down a little bit.
Our fight or this one?
Yeah, this one. So, I mean, there are some interesting things. So the 2000 on Christmas, nothing. For some people that are listening, they spent far more than that, and
Right,
it's
it's
not
like
a big
not about
deal
the number,
at all.
really.
It's not about the number.
Yeah.
The without telling me,
Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
that begins to scream some things that are going on. And then once you find out that we've actually discussed, we agreed on 800.
Yeah.
Now you see where the problem is. We had an agreement. Now it goes different. He says the kids deserve a big year. I'm intrigued by that phrase. We want to get to that to some extent. I wonder, do the kids deserve a big year or
Guilt?
guilt? Is he trying to purchase something in some way?
Happiness and love.
That happiness, love, this idea of, oh, look how great of a parent I am or we are, something of that nature. That statement is very interesting to me. And then the idea that she handles the bills, nothing wrong with that. It does make me wonder, though, if money is an issue, what would it look like? We're already getting into solutions. I shouldn't get here this quickly. What would it look like if he handled it for a while? Let him feel the stress of what is actually going on. But then the idea of he's saying you're making too big of a deal of it. She now is there's all this friction that's taking place, and we can see some very difficult issues. She's asking, are we just wired differently?
Right.
And the answer is yes and no.
Yes.
Yes, you are wired
no.
differently, but that is not the problem
Yeah.
here. The problem here is that you probably don't understand it, and you're not processing it in a right way. Well, so do either of y'all hear personality things?
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna start now introducing y'all to where y'all are going to start picking out some personality things that are going on. So think about head, heart, gut.
Yeah.
Inward, outward, dyadic.
Yeah.
Those are the things that are taking place here.
Yeah.
What is it you're seeing here? Anything?
Well, she's definitely more, I wanted to say like type A, but I don't know how
that's
that
okay.
fits
So-
into.
Yeah, so type A, yes, you can almost hear as though she is the oldest daughter,
Head.
She's me.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Except I don't take care of the finances, but,
Right.
I expect you to do a good job at that.
Yeah, so you probably have now. She sounds to me like she's going to be gut driven, inward, very Jenny like from my standpoint.
agency.
like an Enneagram 1. All the ducks in the row, everything's
Yes.
taken care
Yeah.
of. It probably even to some extent, this idea of you kind of need to earn your fun. So we need to make sure that we have everything
Yeah.
right, and then we'll have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he sounds a lot like a certainty outward, right? Enneagram 7, let's just go have fun, whatever. We'll worry about everything else later, but it's all about the experience.
Yes, make
Christmas,
the magic,
that kind
make
of
the
thing. Yeah.
memories.
So you can see how they fall in love with each other now.
Yeah.
Is he needs structure in his life, because if all he ever does is have fun, he's not going to be able to afford it. You'll end up in prison, and that
Yep.
won't be fun. And so he's attracted to her about how diligent she is, how great she is.
Yes.
She needs to let loose a little bit at
Right.
times, because if it's always I got to earn it to get it, she's probably never going to get there. So now she's attracted to him, and now a few years in, they're frustrating each other like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So you-
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's interesting for me. I would say that the kids deserve a big year. And what I mean by that, Kevin, is let's just let some steam off. We
Yeah.
worked hard.
Yeah.
It's why are we so strung up, and like have a little faith that,
So should every year be a big year? Because-
maybe define a big year, right? So it's like for me, I'm learning over time that a big year doesn't mean $2,000. Like it actually means quality time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I'm trying to analyze this guy of like, what is he covering up for? I'm assuming in my thoughts, it's like he's worked hard. So finally, he's like, I'm going to let some steam off, and I want everyone to enjoy all this time and relaxation. And she's been caused stress now in the moments that it should be pure joy.
Yeah.
So
and it would be fascinating if so that phrase, I have no problem with that statement. The kids deserve a big year. Okay, great. I have no problem with that. But notice the association here with money and fun. The assumption is, in order for this to be a really enjoyable Christmas, we need to buy them things.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Obviously, toys are an aspect of what we are, and we don't have the ages here of the kids. However, the danger here is we're now training our kids to get on a treadmill that we shouldn't get on as well, and that is a materialistic kind of treadmill, which is this idea of, if we buy that, we're going to be happy.
yes,
Yeah. Well, for how long?
right.
For how long are we going to be
Not
happy?
long.
And what would it look like instead if they begin to say, all right, man, the kids deserve a big year. What will that look like?
That's
what could be the most fun?
Yeah. That's my self-realization as I'm analyzing myself.
Yeah.
Of I used to want to buy the joy, and it's like I always wanted the toys. And then we have all the toys, and they're in the garage, and they're in bins, and we never play with the toys. And the kids want more toys.
Yeah.
And Adrienne's been very good at, like, you go to Target all the time and you always buy something. And we had
Especially when I'm not around, that's what he does.
Oh, yeah.
not like to, but it's like it's relevant because Halloween wasn't long ago, and the kids got candy. They love candy, and we're like trying to teach them not to eat all the candy. So we decided that we would buy their candy off them for 10 cents. And
A
then
piece.
a piece.
Just 10 cents.
Oh, wow.
A lot, the whole lot.
Kids.
Take a dime and treat yourself.
Yeah, suddenly y'all are North Korea over there at the Neufeld house. The Neufeld.
Awkward.
And so they sell me this candy. And so my mind is, we'll go and buy a toy with that money, right? And then it was fun because Christmas is coming around the corner, and they all wanted to buy something that would last because they're too tired of toys.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? I'm learning from my own kids. And so then they go and buy some Christmas lights and things that they cash. Our
decorate
oldest
their
is
room.
like wanting to be efficient with his money. So he wants to buy something that he'll use year after year. And I'm like, that was a very proud moment.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
And
Because
so,
he's a firstborn like me.
yeah, and I see the qualities in her.
Oh,
rolling
no,
up,
no
so.
doubt. And now, there is another personality possibility that's here, and that is the wife could be very certainty kind of centric, right? So more like my personality of I want predictability.
Yeah.
And now you've robbed me of that predictability because how are we going to afford these kind of things?
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he could have a very outward bonding kind of almost an Enneagram 2 kind of concept of he just sees, man, the need of the kids.
Yeah.
The kids need a good month. And here's how we're going to do it, not recognizing the ramifications of what that could actually steal from her. But I still like our initial kind of concept here of she's agency now. He's much more kind of this fun aspect of what's going on, and this is causing some chaos.
And the other thing is because they've had money fights before, it could be like a trigger for her from past her, not even from him, but like as a child or something. There was like unpredictability or financial struggle. She doesn't want to go down that road again, but you are bringing me back.
No, that's a great question, and that's something that we would want to dig in with them to begin to see. Now, all right, so here's what we do whenever we look at fights. We look at personality. We look at attachment. Money doesn't really reveal attachment to us. Different attachment styles deal with money in different ways. Communication does. Communication reveals
We
attachment.
like that.
Yes.
So I know y'all both communicated very well. So the idea now of even this, you're overreacting. That notice what he's doing there is he does not want any part of this conversation. Is what it sounds like to me. So this is going to be an avoidant kind of approach, which now is probably tipping her into a much more anxious approach. So she's probably wanting to grab more control. This hasn't gone well, so I'm going to need to control even more.
Well, yeah.
And he doesn't want any part of the tension, so he's probably running.
And she's chasing.
She's chasing. And
Look
so
at
this idea of we've had money fights before, Adrienne, this is brilliant for you to figure that out right there.
Thank you.
Because you're tapping into, this is in all likelihood their fight club.
Yes.
So I mean, this is one thing we're helping couples with, is to recognize, look, we don't have many fights, and chances are most couples are probably having one or two fights just over and over again. And we could learn to break those down. Then we could lessen their impact on us. And so it sounds like to them, this is a very significant issue.
Yeah. And I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. We talked about staying under 800 and he didn't. Like there is an element of distrust. Right.
So it's like betrayal almost, especially if it's a pattern.
But now I'm going to, like, just to be the other side of it. Yeah, we agree. Let's do 800. But in the moment, I feel like I got to go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to defend him a little bit.
I know.
It's like, we're going to stay under. Well, don't be so tight strong. Right. Like I can hear the fight right now. But
then they should have negotiated a different number in the beginning.
Or we talked about staying under. Did we decide like this year, this is the number?
So let's break down of what would empower him to do that. What would empower him in this moment to violate the discussion that they had, and now on his own to go out and do this? I see two possibilities just from a sheer personality standpoint. One, and we haven't even talked about this, he could be more of an agency dyadic, more of an Enneagram 9, to where he so doesn't like the tension that when she said, hey, we got to be careful about Christmas this year, we can only spend $800. And he, instead of asserting himself and having good assertive communication, became very passive. It's like, okay. And to appease her, said yes, but then goes out and protests on the other side. So from an unhealthy standpoint, that could be going on. I think it's far more likely in this moment that what's happening is he has an outward attention to the world. And so he saw the shiny object. And what he needs to do now is to recognize, oh yeah, how would she view this? How would she see this?
Yeah, like I don't even think he was being malicious. He was actually thinking about the kids, but he forgot to think about his wife's heart in this moment.
Possibly.
Do you think?
Yeah. What was he thinking about? This is a great question. I love this question. Who is he thinking about here?
Himself?
I think maybe.
I do. Like I know that I'm thinking about myself.
How will this
I
make
want
the
to
kids
have
feel about me?
Yes.
Or the Christmas that I wanted, or the Christmas that, yes, I brought a bunch of joy to the house because there's a bunch of gifts. Look, guys, come on. Hold on. A kid opening up a Christmas gift?
It's cool.
Isn't it great?
It's the greatest
fun,
30 seconds you can have.
Okay, Scrooge over here.
Scrooge.
As a child, are you trying to recreate your childhood? Because did you have awesome Christmases?
I had awesome Christmases.
Okay, yeah.
And we had all the gifts. And we had the big gift. Oh, that was fun. We got a Nintendo once. And then we got a Super Mario 3. And we hid it around the house. We had this big scavenger hunt.
Your
and
family's
it was just like
good at traditions.
the greatest memories of my life.
Mine wasn't as extravagant.
And I would
not
say,
bad,
I'll say this too. It's like not to, like, I remember Christmas being the moment when we were all together. There was no
And that's
work.
what
There
you
was no sports. There was nothing. And it was like so fun to be together.
That's what made it magical.
But notice how what he wanted, his actions are now going to prevent him from experiencing.
Yes.
And actually, had he had a good discussion about, hey, here's what we want.
Yeah.
And maybe here's a great piece of advice. It's too late for this Christmas, but think about it for birthdays, for Christmases to come. The discussion does not need to begin with a dollar amount. The discussion needs to begin with, what do we desire? What's the picture? What's the outcome? What's the experience that we want to have? Okay, now let's begin. Because here's what happens. Whenever we start with a dollar amount, well, let's face it, $800 could have given them that experience that he wants. But you start with a dollar amount, and then it becomes all about the money, and you're not actually thinking about the outcome of what you actually desire.
Right. So is it all about for her security?
It's just, and rightly so.
Right.
I mean, what's January going to look like now?
It's ruining Christmas for her.
It's ruining Christmas, and then not only that, but then we got this $1,200 extra. Then we don't know what the couple looks like, but it could be in many families, $1,200 now could be a significant problem come January. And is it on credit cards? And then are we going to be? Is this going to set us behind for all of next year? Here's what I think is the biggest issue in the midst of all this. Let's think about this from more of a friends, partners, and lovers kind of concept. Is they fail to be partners here.
Yes.
Right.
Partnership. Think about this from a business perspective.
Yeah.
If you have a business partner and y'all agree we're going to spend this amount of money, and then the partner goes and spends something else without ever talking to you,
bad business.
This business is not working very well. This is a failure partnership. And think about what happens here. Whenever you fail to be partners, then in this moment now, this couple becomes a parent-child relationship.
For sure.
I mean, isn't this is something you would expect from a teenager who doesn't get the full picture of understanding what money's all about. And oh yeah, I did spend too much on the credit card. And now that causes the parent to come in and to try to control in some way. And now this is where their money fights go. She plays the parent, he plays the child, and neither one of them are playing the role they're supposed to play. They're not playing the role of spouse.
Because I could quickly say, let's say the guy's like, you know what, I made a mistake. I'll do better. I could see her taking dominance in this and say, show me every purchase you've ever made. Right? And like really
you've done this before.
Choking it out. That's not healthy either.
At all.
Right? Because it's not necessarily about every item, I would imagine.
No.
It's more so what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's think about it just from a money standpoint. Let's think about this idea of, she will need to recognize her control. Where does that come from? Is safety, is he violating that safety? And it sounds like he is, and he has to take responsibility for that. But let's get back to just the practical application I made earlier. Here's one way to try to change this. She always handles the money. Okay. January, he handles it. Let's see what happens. And her thought probably in that moment is, oh my goodness, dear Lord, where's this going to go?
We're going off the rails.
Right? But Blaine, think about this even from a golf perspective, and I recognize that
I'm listening.
75% of our audience are women, and so some are golfers, but some are not. But think about a guy who has a big slice.
Okay.
Right. So he hits this huge left to right. And so his mindset is, I need to aim further left. And what that actually does is it exacerbates the slice. As you keep on aiming it further and further left, you're going to keep on slicing it more and more. Well, one of the tips is to get on the driving range and aim dead right. In other words, you do the exact opposite of what comes naturally to you in an attempt to kind of correct what's going on. This couple probably thinks the last thing we should ever do is let him be in charge of the finances. No. Let him have a try at it. Let's see what's going to, now try to set it up where it can't do too much damage. He needs to feel the weight of why this is an issue, that $1,200 more is an issue. Now, there is an assumption we've made here, and that is that this is an issue.
Oh.
There is a whole other side to this, which is, I don't know. I doubt it. But there is a small case scenario in which she might be overly frugal.
Correct.
And actually, $1,200 for this family is not that big of a deal.
Correct.
And the problem was they didn't handle that in the conversation, the initial conversation. I'm not putting this on her by any means, but it could be that he looks at what's going on financially like $1,200.
It's not a big deal, babe.
That big of a deal. Because I don't know if y'all, we've seen this before multiple times. Couples that make extraordinary amount of money can still fight over money.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And literally, someone comes from a very frugal background. They don't recognize the money they have. I've talked to many a financial advisor and asked, what's the toughest part of your job? Assuming the toughest part of their job is getting people to save money. And they go, no. We don't work with people who don't save money. Our biggest problem is getting people who have saved money to start to spend it.
Because
They're getting the mindset.
Spend it to grow it?
No. Spend it
Trapped.
in that they've worked their whole lives and now they're in retirement.
Like hoarding it?
And their whole identity is I'm a saver. I'm frugal. Well, what are you being frugal for now?
Right. You can't take it with you.
security, safety, all these idols that could happen. Yeah.
But the issue in the end is, again, it's an issue of partnership. And if they could get back to that idea, and notice this, it's going to ripple into every aspect of their lives.
That was my question was like, yes, this is, let's say, for example, it isn't the end of the world that spending this amount of money, whatever that amount of money for a couple, isn't going to like trap them into debt and, cause this thing. But where else? Now I'm hearing of a husband that, sure, babe, let's do $800. That meant nothing to him. I'm just going to go off and do my own thing because I feel that in the moment I want to do it. I kind of know that I make a lot of money, therefore, whatever. Where does that ripple out to cause a worse marriage?
So she no longer respects him or trusts him.
Right.
Well, then that's going to start eating into everything.
Yeah.
And so doesn't she have a right now to begin to question that whenever he says, I'm going out with my friends, is he going out with his friends?
What is doing? Yeah.
Because he's not going to be transparent with me.
Right.
And so think about this idea of friendship built on trust, partnership built on respect. The partnership is failing. She's not going to respect it. She doesn't respect him with money. We already know that. You can already sense the fights there. She does not respect him as money. He's not being respectful to her. There's something in her he doesn't respect either.
Right.
Whether it's the oversight, the understanding of what's going on. That failure of respect is eroding their trust.
Yeah.
So now I can't even trust the conversation we're having. And here's what's about to happen, if it's not already happening, is when trust and respect are gone, vulnerability begins to seep away. And so it's gonna impact their intimacy. The intimacy is gonna become about him and not about both of them. And because even if she's there physically, she's not gonna be there emotionally, and she's not gonna, again, it's very difficult for a woman to sleep with a man she does not respect.
Right.
It's very difficult. Wow, that got a response.
That was a weird.
No, I just never thought about that because I respect you. So
there you go.
I've never felt that.
Well, we could go to different areas that deep down you might not respect my habits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, and now we're gonna go super deep because this is where I'm trying to get as like if the partnership, because a lot of people I would talk to is like we're not business partners. This is my wife. It's just like. This is a marriage, yes, but at the same time, I want them to know when you don't have a partnership, i.e. respect, in certain areas of your life, it's going to erode other areas of your life, right? So it's like if we talked about this, and we're vulnerable, I don't care, right? But it's like where you would not respect me or like the way I do things would be my eating habits or physical activity, right? Because as that, I disrespect your desire, really, what's going on here is I'm like, no, I want to do it for me. I'm not a friend, a partner, and then that it doesn't become a lover type of thing, right? So it's like there's many different areas in our, just not money.
Yes. So here's what I think is an important aspect of what's going on. We're all going to have areas where we may not agree with what our spouse is doing in small areas of their lives.
Right.
Here's what I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. Adrienne respects you immensely. Immensely.
Yes.
And so I think on those issues, okay. Does she agree with how you're handling that specific situation?
Right.
No, but that is such a minor situation in comparison to the totality of what y'all's relationship is. This is much more something that this is seeping into other areas, in my opinion. So I think you can have disagreement. I'm trying to justify your poor eating habits.
No, but
obviously I'm the right guy for that.
I didn't say anything.
No. It's my own self-realization because we are great friends. So therefore we can have great conversations. We're learning really well how to become partners. So I want to respect that.
I think maybe I don't agree with certain lifestyle choices, same way you wouldn't, like, why do you need to shop? Like we have that on both ends. But we do, I think disagreeing and respect are not equal.
I agree.
Very good.
We still respect each other, even though maybe we would do things differently.
Yes. And we want to love each other to a better place. So it's like, I just don't want people to miss the value of partnership in marriage because it actually strengthens everyone far more than they realize. Everyone likes to be friends. Yeah, we should be friends with our spouse. No problem. We should all be lovers. No problem. I think the missing piece for a lot of people is like this partnership element.
No, I mean, for me, it was whenever you think about friend, partner, and lover, right? It's been 10 years since I wrote the book.
Yeah.
It sounds like, oh man, every relationship begins as a good friendship. I mean, that's what, obviously we want intimacy to be strong. Partnership sounds like these, monarchs of old are doing this land transaction.
Right.
Yeah.
But actually, partnership to me is the most exciting element, because think about partnership. Once you move beyond how are we paying bills and taking care of the kids and managing the house, partnership then becomes, how can I help your dreams come true? How can we create the life that we want to create? And then now together, we're going to go after that. And there is such an invigorating aspect of this. I think for many people, the reason their intimacy struggles, the reason their friendship isn't where it needs to be is they've never reached that level of partnership beyond how are we paying the bills and into who are we going to be 10 years from now?
Yeah.
And now let's go after that.
Yes. We inspire each other to get to that point without a doubt. And like back to the fight, having him just disregard that, it's like, I think there's room for both of them to grow. And I think that maybe she needs to have more fun, but let's communicate how we can both have more fun.
Like make it a partnership. Like let's figure this out together.
Yeah. Out of our partnership, which is a healthy partnership, you've pulled out the best in me, and vice versa.
Oh,
I heard someone else say vice versa the other day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was disappointed.
Is it a Canadian thing?
I don't know.
No, they weren't Canadian.
But it draws out the best in you, right? When you humble yourself in the partnership to help each other win.
Such potential that's there. And again, the big issue here is they rightly had a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then they didn't follow through. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where the issue really comes back to in the end, had they been able to do that. And now think about what's happening is he then came in, we'll switch metaphors, switch books into stay in your lane.
Yeah, right.
He came in and what actually belonged to the two of them, our ability to manage our finances from the 40,000 foot level and say, here's how we're going to spend money on Christmas. And he robbed her of her voice in that and just did it.
Yeah.
And so now he swerved into a lane that he should not be on his own. I think about there are certain things in married life that are like the carpool lane. That, we're in California, right? You have a little diamond that if you don't have more than one person in your car, you can't get in that lane. There are certain decisions I cannot make without Jenny. This is the carpool lane decisions. We have to be unified on this. And he basically got in the carpool lane by himself, made a decision, and now
It's illegal.
Now he's experiencing the $1,200 fine.
He's getting a ticket.
So let's say he was like, "Oh shoot, we said 800, but I really found this thing I want to get the kids." Calls her up and is like, what if he discussed it with her?
Yeah, that's much better. And this idea of, look, hey, honey, I know we said this. This is out here.
I respect you.
Most of the time, these things aren't. You have to do it immediately. Most of the time, there is a window here, right? I mean, when this was sent in, there's still weeks before Christmas, so maybe this is an old story, maybe not. But the part of that financial decisions, oftentimes poor financial decisions are rushed. This decision sounds rushed, unless there's circumstances we aren't aware of. He probably could have spent this money at a later time. So come home and say, hey, honey, we said 800. Can we go back and look again and see, could we find this money? I would love to get this for the kids.
Right.
Now, notice what's happening here. He's inviting her voice. What he's saying is, hey, let's get in the carpool lane together.
Yeah, let's partner on
Right?
this.
No,
yeah.
that's exactly right. And now, think about it. Had he done that, she would feel valued and seen and appreciated. And, oh, my goodness, he's taking responsibility for our finances. And suddenly the respect is growing.
Baby.
I can now trust him.
see it.
Why
I see where
why
this
can I
goes.
trust
We
him?
can feel it.
Exactly. I can trust him now because he's going to come to me whenever there is a disagreement and not hide in some way. Now trust is growing. Now respect is growing. Now vulnerability can grow. There's such potential here. And I never want to become doomsday about this and going, oh, look at this horrible couple. It's not that.
No.
This is life.
Right.
Yeah.
But notice how easily it could have been avoided.
Yeah.
And what feels like, I would assume for this couple, what feels like this ongoing tug of war that we're caught in this loop, how do we get out of it? It's actually not that hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I can also see her leaning the other way in January and being, let's say, extra tight and being bitter towards bitter to him, and resentment and anger. And January turns into February, and now we're in June, and summer vacation
And the
is
whole
coming.
year's angry and tough
But
because of...
Well, absolutely. And I mean, think about this. as they get into September and October, her tension's going to be growing.
100%.
Is he going to do it again this year?
Yeah.
Let's get some very
that's so sad.
practical money applications here of what this couple can do in the future. One, there has to be an agreement of full financial transparency. This is, I hate to use this phrase, but I think it plays out. This is in part financial adultery. He cheated on her.
Yeah.
With money. All right, we can't do that. There's no here's the thing. Even whenever it comes to Christmas, right? Years ago, I heard somebody say, "We have surprises, we don't have secrets." So, all right, do we have to reveal everything like that? No, we're going to keep this hidden from the kids. But with each other, we're telling each other what's going on. There has to be financial transparency because, again, that will build the trust that's lacking here. They have to have shared decisions. They have to remember the carpool lane and ask the question, am I allowed to make this decision on my own?
Right.
And some things you can, some things you can't. You have to work through that, talk through that. They have to do that. They need to come back and have a serious repair conversation because she's not going to trust or respect him until they begin to work this out in a meaningful way. And then he has to rebuild her trust. And how do you rebuild trust? Small steps every single day.
Yeah.
This isn't something you can just go, oh, wash my hands. All right, from this moment on, we're good. No, this has consequences.
Yeah.
And the only way to re-earn that is, I always say, just it's brick by brick.
But can we also say the other side? So let's say he admits it. Let's say he's willing to take the steps.
Yeah.
And what is the female heart or the other heart on this other side of like, oh, I was right. I'm going to now use this as authority.
Well, they both need to submit to each other.
I think that's the piece that I'm like,
they both need to have grace on both ends.
Yeah. He needs to not play the role of the child. So a child would not come and apologize, would not own it, it'd be like, all right, let's play the role of the man. All right, I own that. I shouldn't have done that way. This is a mistake. All this, own it fully. She has to refuse to play the role of the parent.
Right.
It cannot be, I'm going to be checking everything and watching everything, because here's the temptation, especially based on if her personality is what we think it is she's going to look for even more control.
Right.
So the idea is
Give him
that control is going to lead to safety. That money is going to lead to safety. I didn't experience that here, so I'm going to double down on this idea of control. And here's the thing. If his personality is what we think it is, her attempt to control is going to tempt him even more to go do things behind their back and all those kind of things. Have you ever worked for a boss who was like a micromanager? And whenever you have a boss that's a micromanager, you're like, I don't even want to tell him what I'm doing.
Correct.
Because they're not going to trust me or respect me, all that kind of thing. So you start doing things behind their back just to get things done. Well, let's say that person gets fired. Somebody comes in that they really believe in you. Well, what do you do in that moment? You actually go to them and say, hey, can you help me with this? Because you trust them. And she now has to refuse to play the role of the parent, because it will almost enable him to play the role of the child even more.
Yeah. And can we level up one more time? So like the ability to trust, that way you can go be vulnerable. It's like when you trust in God and trust that he will provide the other end of this storm or the suffering or this fight or whatever. It's like, I trust in him enough and I know my relationship with him enough that I can go to you and say, hey, X, Y, and Z, we're in a spot here, but I know he's going to provide us. And after this storm is over, can you give me grace, or can you do this, that, and the other thing? Because I trust that he will provide, right? I think because when you say control and money and security, I think of lack of faith. That's where I go. It's just like, well, what? Hold on. He's going to provide. But at the same time, I'm looking in the mirror and saying, no, you need to be wiser with this is a different season of life. We need to do a better job at this, that, and the other thing. We can't buy all the Christmas gifts to fill your heart, Blaine. So there'll be no Christmas at the Newfields.
Let's end with some hope here.
You're right.
Think about what next Christmas can look like for this couple. Let's say he comes back, they have the conversation, they begin to rebuild trust and respect of what's going on. He takes some responsibility of the finances. Let's say he does it in January and begins to say, oh my goodness, this is why you can't just wildly spend whatever it is that you want to spend. But maybe he finds a little bit more freedom in there than what she actually saw. So she can be encouraged to have a little bit more fun. Next thing you know, they're appreciating. She's recognizing, man, it's the freewheeling spirit in him that I'm drawn to. I need to lean into that more. Here's the irony to me. She needs to become more like him, and he needs to become more like her in this moment. He needs to learn some restraint. She needs to learn some fun in all likelihood. And now they begin to experience this.
Yeah.
And sometime over the summer, they have a conversation. What do we want Christmas to be?
Yeah.
Not what's the dollar amount.
Right.
What do we want Christmas to be?
Right.
Okay. How much money do we have to provide that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how can we match our finances into what it is that we desire? And next year's Christmas has such a potential. And notice this. Now, all the skills that they've learned will ripple into every other disagreement that they possibly have, to where they are now leveraging their personality in a positive way. They're coming from a secure attachment, being assertive in the midst of their communication, right? They're staying in their lane, owning everything that they should possibly own, having this joint partnership in what's taking place, which builds their friendship, which builds their intimacy.
Yes.
And they have such potential if they can just break down this one fight and make changes.
Yes.
You know what it can do?
Babe, do you know what it can do?
Change.
It could change the odds.
The odds.
We'll see you next time.